Hmm.
Because I saw Mr. Scott here.
I'm here.
You're live.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I'd like to welcome everybody to the Public Works Committee meeting. It is Tuesday, February 11th, 2025. We're going by remote, and the time is 2:32. We have 5 items on our agenda today, and we are going to start with Ms. Valerie Fessler, and we're going to start with number 1, resolution authorizing professional and administrative services agreement between the city and CEDACOG for environmental review services for the Willow Street project. But before you go, Valerie, Janice will want me to do roll call, and I didn't do that. I haven't done this in a little bit. Okay. Janice, Randy Allison is here. Councilman Randy Allison, Councilman Vince Belizzi, our city engineer, Bill Scott. Our IT person is Chris Black. You, Janice, as our city clerk. And we have Valerie Fessler in Community and Development. And I think that's all we have here. Oh, we have Melanie Shoot too. And you're the
Grants administrator.
thank you. I couldn't get the words out. So I apologize, Valerie. Now the floor is yours.
Okay, thanks, Bonnie. This is a easy and straightforward resolution. So the city of Williamsport is, as you know, making some upgrades and improvements at Willow Street. And there was funding from community development block grant funds put into this project to cover the design and engineering of the Willow Street enhancements. And this PSA is to contract with CEDACOG to do the environmental review that is required by HUD anytime we use CDBG funds for construction projects.
Okie dokie. Randy, Vince, you have any questions? No questions?
Hang on a second. You can, I got it. Valerie, I just wondered, what are they going to be looking at? Like, does that entail infrastructure, like power lines and gas lines and all of that?
So as far as the environmental review is concerned, and Randy, I will pull this straight out of the, actually Bill could probably answer this more quickly than I could. Bill, if you want to.
I mean, they look for environmental concerns, even what's it called, species, endangered species, things like that.
Okay.
Just an overall general scoping to make sure we're not hitting some rare endangered species, things like that. You know, old brownfield,
Okay.
that nature.
So it's just like a check off the box, because
It is.
yeah, I just wonder because the way an environmental look, just to my mind, doesn't ring any bells down in that area of the city. So
Yeah, and
in
really,
any
just
case,
to fill in,
Even wetlands, they'll look at obviously there's no wetlands
Right.
there. These are the types of things they look for. Yeah. You have to clear it. All these check boxes you got to clear.
okay.
Yep, and Randy, just to clarify a little further, so HUD requires the environmental review for any project that we do with CDBG funds. So even when we talk about doing like a owner-occupied single-family, rehab, that type of thing, they require environmental reviews basically anytime we're going to touch anything, just to make sure that we're not doing this in a place where, like Bill said, there's an endangered species or something under the ground that we're not aware of. This is a routine thing that HUD requires with quite literally every single project that we do with CDBG or home funds.
Okay.
Randy, just a funny side note I have to mention. We had to do one of these for Little League Boulevard, and
Mhm.
the hit came up showing streams on Little Lake Boulevard down to the eastern end, which, like, yeah, maybe 150 years ago, there were open
Yeah.
streams there, and we had to explain, no, these are all underground and culverts and
Right.
things like that come up,
Yeah. Yeah, we do have a lot of that down
Yeah.
in that part of the city.
In fact, it might happen again down there, right? Because the old Graphius is down there, I believe.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
A couple branches of it, yeah.
Yeah.
They work their
All
way
right.
down towards Third Street, all the way down to almost the river with Graffius Run. And I
Yeah.
think we were all surprised when that came about. Remember, Randy?
Mhm, yeah.
When that was like, oh my goodness. But
I have a question. Sorry,
yes,
just when you guys are ready. And at the risk of sounding silly, I apologize. Help me again. I'm having trouble drawing the connection again. What exactly is the Willow Street project again?
I'll take a shot at that, Val. So, Vince, we're going to, it's like the alley, right? And it's called Willow Street. It's going to be combined use, more accented towards pedestrian use to connect the of the old city area and the college, to favor citizens walking downtown and back and forth.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
All that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You jump started my memory. It's all coming back here now. Sorry.
And the possible new development down in that area, and
Yep,
Yeah.
I remember. Yeah, I remember it now. Sorry to interrupt you, Bill, after I asked.
No, it's going to be, like I said, more pedestrian friendly beautification down in that area. We're looking at some pretty neat things. We'll show you guys at some point. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember Bonnie, Randy, we were presented with some illustrations of potentially what it could look like after it was developed. I
Right.
think one of the renderings showed like cobblestone
Mhm.
yeah.
as picturesque, with some
Yep.
shops.
Yep.
Yeah, like you said, Bill, it was a safe main pedestrian means of traversing from Old City, East End over toward Market Street into that area, right?
Right.
Okay, thank you. Yep, I'm on the same page now.
I think we're all happy about that because I think there was a period of time when we didn't think this was going to go any further. So really happy that it's still on board because that will make that area even look better than what is looking now. Valerie, I do have a question. This has throughout the document about extended consultation with the Pennsylvania Historical and Museum Commission. This is no longer under your department, right? Or is it still under your department? How is that working out? Or is it
I'm not sure I understand the question. The consultant with SHPO is something that we do whenever we have an environmental review. Anytime that there's any type of historic component, so if they discover in the environmental review process that it's in a historic district or there's any type of historic component, then whoever is performing the environmental review consults with SHPO to make sure that there aren't any additional historic concerns. Bill?
Yeah, this comes up during bridge replacements a lot. You'll hit
Mhm.
Indian arrowheads and
Yep.
old campsites and things like that. So, yeah.
Yeah,
Hope you
I just wanted to know if this was, the purpose for that. This is going to follow us through for the rest of the department, right? I mean, and I know, I guess I got confused reading it because Mary is doing she's doing HARB, right?
Yeah.
Okay, but is that still under you or is she just doing it?
So that is actually completely separate from the environmental reviews that we do with SHPO. So HARB, my understanding is when someone wants to do an upgrade to their home that's in the historic district, they consult the HARB board. The environmental review of anything historic is completely separate from that.
That's what I wanted to clarify in my mind.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, two totally different things. Yeah, so yeah, good clarification. So HARB would not be involved. Say if they did find something historic in one of these environmental reviews they were doing with one of our projects, that would not trigger HARB. That's when a business or a homeowner wants to do an upgrade. HARB approves their selections, is my understanding.
Okay. Okay, so this is completely separate, okay?
Yeah.
I really wanted, when this was all going on, I just had it all jumbled in my brain.
That's
And
okay.
I thank you. If there's no other questions, Vince, Randy, if there's no other, we'll go on to item number 2. Resolution of the City of Williamsport authorizing the execution of a customer facilities intake and income verification administrative services agreement with SEDA Council of Governments. That's a mouthful.
That is a mouthful. That's a lot of words to say the following. So, as you are well aware, CEDACOG is assisting in the administration of our CDBG funds. And one of the activities that takes place with our CDBG funding is owner-occupied single-family rehabilitation. So, folks in the city are eligible for grant funds in order to make those emergent necessary repairs to their home that can help keep them in their home or perhaps help them become ADA compliant. So now that CEDACOG is working with us with CDBG, this just essentially gives CEDACOG the permission to be an extension of the City of Williamsport when we're working with those homeowners and we need to do things to qualify them as an intake for the program. So to speak with the homeowners and to help us to acquire the income verification forms and either qualify them or disqualify them as eligible for the program. This PSA basically just allows CEDACOG the ability to work on our behalf to contact the citizens of Williamsport who are interested in taking advantage of this program.
How much, is there what's the limited amount of money that we have available for this?
For the 2025 year, right now, we are in the process of having our plan available to the public. So you may be familiar with how the process has worked in the past. We have it available for public input for 30 days before we bring it to City Council for y'all to approve our plan. As of right now, we have allocated $75,000 to owner-occupied single-family grants with CDBG funds for 2025. Now that will obviously be at the discretion of City Council to approve, but that's with the mayor's direction, what we're recommending for 2025.
75,000 really isn't a whole heck of a lot of money.
Yeah.
At all, and it's sad because, if you want a home that's accessible and so on and so forth, it's funds aren't there.
Yeah.
CEDACOG is, they weren't involved many years ago, okay?
Yeah.
Do you find it better that they are involved at the city? From what I understand, and this goes back maybe 5, 6 years, that there were just so many things, laws and rules that were changing constantly, that it's very hard for a community development in a city to keep on top of things. And this is where I've had it in my brain. I don't know whether I'm right or wrong with that, Valerie. But it's to me, it's a blessing, but it's also costing us a little bit more money. But I think we're safer because they keep us on the straight and narrow.
I would agree with that. You're exactly right. And in my experience, so we have one main contact at CEDACOG who we work with, and she is incredibly knowledgeable. And she reiterates to me consistently when we meet that she has 16 people in her department who work on behalf of the city of Williamsport to manage our CDBG program because the HUD requirements are very extensive. And, we operate several different types of activities within our CDBG funds. So those are all different, types of requirements that we have to follow based on the activity that we're executing. But CEDACOG has been an immense blessing to the department, and their level of expertise is really unmatched. And it's becoming uncommon. My understanding is it's becoming uncommon for cities to operate these programs without the assistance of CEDACOG or someone similar, just because of the extensive regulations that are required. And like you said, Bonnie, we want to be safe. We want to be managing this money appropriately and stewarding it appropriately so that it gets into the community. And they seem to be the best avenue for us to do that right now.
You also answered the other question that obviously other cities are going this route also.
Absolutely, to the point where people, CEDACOG is so busy, and people are to the point where they're, looking for other agencies. People who aren't working with CEDACOG are looking for someone like CEDACOG, because they're so busy and they do such great work. So yeah, essentially everyone I've reached out to, cities that the mayor has shared with me that are, running great programs, they all have wonderful things to say about their work with CEDACOG, and that's been our experience as well. So we're really happy to have them and their expertise.
Fantastic. I'm sorry, Vince, and Randy, I overstepped. Do either one of you have any questions? Did I?
Randy.
Guys? Oh, there's
Yeah.
Randy.
No, I don't have a question. Just a comment that that money that we have available for the city, it is small, but STEP Incorporated gets a healthy portion of money for weatherization and repairs and those kinds of things on lower income housing. So I think there's enough there that the need is great. Don't want to underestimate that. The need is very great, but a decent portion gets taken care of people that really need that type of service.
I think we've all known people that have used the weatherization from STEP, and STEP really has been a saving grace for a lot of people.
Right. Yes.
That weatherization is so important in for our citizens. It really is. I'm glad you brought that up, Randy.
Right.
So if they work
And
hand
just-
in hand, we can help more people, maybe.
Yeah. And maybe just we need good thoughts towards STEP. With a lot of the changes that are going on at the federal level right now, 85% of STEP's funding is federal money. So, we want to make sure that we can advocate for, because that's an organization that does not waste money on people and resources, and very well run. So,
Randy, you've been working with STEP for how many years? A good
well,
many.
ever since I got on council.
Yeah. And
and I've learned a lot. It's been quite a great education, but we would miss a lot in our area, in our county, if we didn't have STEP. So, in any way we can support them, I think it's well worth the effort.
we'll make sure that we address that on Thursday then. Okay, Randy, that we keep it going.
Randy,
Yeah.
I can double check with STEP. My understanding was that in addition to their weatherization programs that they've been running for a long time, they also have a whole home repair program that is eligible for county residents. So
Right.
yeah, they're definitely a good referral source for us, and we refer back and forth. And Habitat for Humanity actually has a similar program now as well. So the three of us have, worked together to get clients moving.
And they have, we had a meeting last night, and they have enough people that are working crews and everything. So they're really set to go on all those different fronts.
That's awesome.
It helps keep the housing stock up.
I remember when they were doing a lot of things on Grace Street. I knew a couple of people and this goes back many years. And it's, again, the windows are so important at times. And I know that's just a small factor, but it's like, it's important, it's expensive, and to help people out in that area, I think is incredible. Vince, do you have anything to add?
No, Randy beat me to it, talking about mentioning STEP's weatherization program. So, nope.
Fantastic. If we have no other questions, Valerie, I want to thank you very much for today. We're going to go on to hold on, I lost my agenda here.
Sounds great. Thank you, Bonnie.
You have a great afternoon, Valerie. See you on Thursday.
Thank you.
Bye, Valerie.
Item number 3 is a resolution appointing a sewage enforcement officer and alternate for the city of Williamsport. Scott, you are up, Mr. Scott. Or wait,
Okay.
wait, no, wait, I'm gonna get confused here. Is it Bill Scott that's doing this, or is it Scott Livermore that's doing this?
Bill Scott.
Okay. Well, no, it just says Scott here, and this could be, don't know who, so go ahead.
Yeah, City Clerk Janice Frank received an email January 21st. I think she passed it on to all of council. The Department of Environmental Protection local office here in Williamsport notified us that we need to appoint a sewage enforcement officer, SEO, and an alternate SEO. So we're going to do that if you choose to do that. We did some research. So we come up with John Giacomi, who Scott Livermore knows. He's the sewage enforcement officer at Old Lycoming Township. And then there's a Mike McLean, who's the sewage enforcement officer at Hepburn Township. Mike has also done some work for Old Lycoming. We've talked to them, and John would be interested in being our SEO, and Mike could be our alternate SEO. We don't anticipate hardly much need at all for this. I think it's more of a formality than anything. As you know, our sewer is, public sewer, which is basically all pipes. We don't really have any one-lot septic systems. So these are the two names we've come up with, and they're willing to do it. I think, Scott, their rates are $58 an hour, not to exceed $60 an hour. So, yeah.
Kind of straightforward. Vince, Randy, any questions?
I don't have any. I think you answered the thoughts that I had about what the potential exposure was as far as costs and the hours that might be needed to monitor things.
I don't expect much need. Really don't.
Okay, this is going to come from a different side. Why isn't the water authority being asked for this instead of the city? Why is it a city since it's a sewage?
That's a good question. I'm not sure. Just because we are the city. They're an authority. And usually a municipality is the one who has the SEO. I just know that from boroughs and townships, it's the municipality. It's not an authority. Like our authority does not have an SEO. I talked to them. They don't have one. So.
Okay, because, our agreements with water authorities, anything underground is theirs, and we take care of the top. And that's the only reason I'm questioning this.
Well, another thing I want to touch on too, the SEO is not for the water authority sewer. It's made for septic tanks for the 5 residents maybe in the city that have.
Oh, okay.
So they're not even connected to the water authority anyway.
Okay, understand that one completely. I think it surprises you when you think of, we live in a city and yet there are sewage tanks. And I understand that from some people, it takes you aback.
Yeah,
Okay.
the city needs an SEO in case something happens, like say you see something coming out of the bank, and this is who we call to come out and do an inspection to investigate a little bit more to make sure they're not illegally dumping into the streams or wherever the case may be. And right now we don't have one, and it was brought up. So we want to appoint one.
And it's not a full-time job, it's an on-call.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right.
Yep. Something's brought up, and this is who we call. We get them out to inspect it. Yep.
Okay, fantastic. Vince, did you have any questions?
No, I didn't.
Okay, we'll go on to the next item then. Resolution for professional services agreement with bricks for Bowman Field. Mr. Scott.
Yes, so this is the Hard Bricks who we're using for a few other projects. Chris Kaiser, you guys probably know, he'll head this up. This is to replace the netting at Bowman Field and add additional netting. Major League standards require all spectator areas to be covered, and we don't have that. So it's pretty much what we're doing. Replacing what netting we have and extending the netting pretty much down to first and third base lines. Yeah, Scott, you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, so the cross cutters are MLB affiliate. It's not just for the classic game that we're doing. It's for their team and season as well. I guess, yeah, like Bill said, it's just the spectators that need to be blocked because apparently everybody's on their cell phone instead of watching a game, but
God,
Yeah.
that's not true. That is so true. You know, they miss the moments.
yeah.
You know, this needs designed, engineered specs, a bid package. It's got to go out to public bid. And there's certainly some expertise involved with this, which we don't have. And they'll be able to do that for us.
And as far as,
Where's the money coming from? The 25,500.
go ahead, Bill.
It's a Pennsylvania DCED, Department of Community Economic Development grant through tourism.
Valerie, do you want to touch on that to explain a little bit more?
Yep, sure. So we applied for a grant from the, as Bill mentioned, DCD, Sports Marketing and Tourism Grant. And we were the recipients of $750,000 worth of funding to go towards upgrades at Bowman Field. And this is one of the expenses that will be incurred by that grant.
Okay, and is that the total cost of what this would be? Because I can remember when we were doing the netting in the very beginning when it came about years ago, and it seemed like it was so much more money. Maybe it's just my mind not, playing tricks, but I think this is really kind of inexpensive for the amount of area you're covering. Because these also only last so long.
That's just the engineering, Bonnie.
Oh, no
Yeah.
wonder it's so, okay.
Yeah.
I knew
Yeah.
that. Now, right, gotcha.
I forgot to mention the cost of the engineering fee is $25,500.
Yeah.
I forgot to mention
I
that.
wish
That's
the net
for
was
engineering.
25,000.
And how much would the netting be about? Would you have any idea? Ballpark?
Chris, the preliminary estimated it was it Scott? It was over 100,000, right?
Yeah,
That
it was
makes more
pushing the
sense.
$200,000.
Yeah, it's pushing. It's expensive, like everything else nowadays.
It was expensive when we first did it. I can remember doing that. But again, it's only good for a certain number of years before they have to be replaced. So it's something that we're all going to have to keep in mind, that this is not going to last years. It lasts a short period of time. I don't remember what they were saying before when we first started doing the netting. Randy, do you remember that?
Vaguely.
Was it about 10 years ago? Do you guys remember?
God,
Gee, I don't think it was that long ago, but it's possible.
7 to 10 sticking in my head. I mean, it was
Yeah.
before me, but after getting some education on it, from 7 to 10 years, I think is the one that's over there now was like 7 to 10 years ago.
Yeah. 7 or 8 sounds about right.
So if, we really do have to keep in mind that this will happen eventually, to be replaced again. From what I understand, they stretch out.
Well,
Yeah.
the sun, the weather,
Mhm.
Yeah.
it makes them brittle. They are exterior nets, however, but we're having some problems with the even bleachers on the third base side. That sun comes up and beats those bleachers up a lot more, makes them more brittle, so they're more prone for replacement on the third base side. So the sun does damage things there. I mean, it's unfortunate that we can't get something better, but
These are taken down in the wintertime though, after the seasons, right? Or they stay up?
They stay up.
Because it is a pain in the neck to put them up to begin
It
with.
would be, yeah, it would be a couple week project to try to take them down. Some of the cables that are up right now, they're starting to surface rust. There's nothing unsafe. It's just something that we're taking a look at and trying to get a part of this to upgrade and get fixed up.
Okay. Yeah, a lot of this is coming back in my mind at this point of some of the things that had to be done. Like I said, it started out a few years ago because of people that were getting hit with the balls. And you can see where, you'd have to have the netting all around the field. And that's all there is to it. So we're just at this point, we're doing a professional service agreement. Is there any that, so and this is going through Chris, right?
Chris
Yeah.
Kaiser at Bricks, yes. Yep. Yep.
Okay. And all right. Vince, do you have any questions?
No, I don't.
Okay, well, I think we're covered everything. On to item number 5, which is any related items. Does anybody have anything to add to what's going on in the city?
Cold.
That's cold. Scott, are you ready for the weather tomorrow, from what I understand?
Yeah.
Say that with enthusiasm.
I'm over it.
This has been a weird, really cold, wet winter. It's been horrible. But anyhow, all right, if there's nobody has anything to add, we shall see you all on Thursday.
Okay.
And you all have a good night, and don't kill yourself shoveling tomorrow.
All right.
Okay?
Thanks, Bonnie.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bonnie.
Thanks. Bye.
Take
Thanks,
care.
Vince. Thanks, Randy. See ya.
See you guys.
Bye.
Hey, guys.